Hello to those that decided to watch this video. In this video I'd like to give my overall thoughts on Virtual Crisis, the new game mode in Wuthering Waves, adding the 2.4 update, so let's get into the video. A very good thing for this mode is the trial characters that let you have the option to use. For example, I got to use Camellia or Rochia, Brant and the Painter Lady. I'm not going to bother try to say her name because I'll butcher it, so I'll put an image and her name on screen now for you to see of the character I'm talking about. These characters that I got to use, in my humble opinion, I think it is a breath of fresh air to use these resonators that I never pulled on or that I missed when I was not playing Wuthering Waves. Now, from what I have seen and read, that the builds for said trial characters are very mid compared to a moderately invested player build for said trial characters. Even though that the trial characters have mid builds, it's still a joy to use said trial characters in Virtual Crisis. Now we are going to move on to the second good point about this event, is the fact that it doesn't take you 5 or 6 hours to complete the event and get all major rewards. In fact, it took me about 2 to 3 hours to get all of the major rewards from Virtual Crisis, and that is a good thing, because longer events tend to bore you if it takes 6, 7 hours to complete. But if it takes 2 to 3 hours, that is a good thing because it's quick and fun. Now, I understand for some of you that a short event might be bad, but let me give you an example of an event taking way too long to complete. The Dreaming Deep event is an event that has you completing a film, that has you fighting regular enemies and bosses to level up your character that the event gives you. You also need to use the materials that the film gives you while doing the film to level the characters you buy from the vendor to use more characters in the final boss to complete the film. Now, the Dreaming Deep event wouldn't take so long if it weren't for the fact that the film has you explore the map to find where all the encounters are, where the final bosses, where all the upgrades are. That's what drags it out so long. Because of that, it takes about 45 minutes to an hour to complete one film, and there are 12 of them that you have to complete to get pretty much all of the rewards. Now, I understand that the event doesn't have an end date, but regardless, it is a slog to get through, unlike Virtual Crisis. Now we're going to move on to my third point about Virtual Crisis, is that it's a bit too easy this time around. Now, I understand that this event came around in the 2.2 update for Wuthering Waves, but this time around it is very easy to complete the disaster trials even with all the modifiers on, if you have, or when you have a very good team that you invested a lot of time into. Now, if you use the trial characters that they let you use on any one of the 5 disaster trials, they won't clear as good as a invested team that you built yourself with your own resonators. But regardless of the fact of whatever you use, the trials are still extremely fun to clear and extremely quick to clear no matter what. Now, if you don't know how Virtual Crisis works, I'll explain it to you the best I can for you. There are 8 regular trials in said event that you have to complete in order to unlock the difficulty modifiers, which then you can use in the disaster trials to give the enemies buffs to make them harder. Like, for example, you can give them more health and stuff like that. It just makes them harder to complete. Or they do more damage, or you take more damage, or they spawn ads or stuff like that, or bosses get additional attacks like that. It's just more stuff that makes it harder for you to complete. Now that I explained how the event works, for you to make any of the disaster trials harder, you have to complete the first 8 regular trials to get all of the difficulty modifiers to increase the challenge of the disaster trials. Even with all of the modifiers on, it is still a breeze to get through, but that is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a small nitpick that I have with the event, but overall, I think the event is still extremely good and extremely fun to play through. Now, I'm just going to give a quick rundown of my opinions and thoughts about Virtual Crisis here in this section of the video, if you wanted to like skip to the end. Firstly, I'd like to say that this event is just good fun if you just want to fight enemies and bosses without having to worry about anything like when you have to do the TOA every patch. Another great bonus about the Virtual Crisis event that it's not a slog to play through and complete, which goes back to a point I made earlier in the video about the Dreaming Deep event, which is a current event right now in WUA. Dreaming Deep just drags on and drags on and drags on because I just don't want to complete the rest of the films because you just take way too long to complete. Now, I hope to see more of this type event in the future updates of this game, but I also hope to see this event come back with more rewards and different modifiers because this event is inherently a good event because I think Kuro really knows how to make a good event at this point, that it's just fun to play, it's quick, and just good fun. Now, I'd like to thank anybody that watched this far, and I greatly appreciate it, but if you have any thoughts about how I could improve making more of these type of videos, please leave it in the comments. I'd greatly appreciate it. But thank you everybody that watched, and I hope you guys like and subscribe because I'm going to try to make more of these videos in the future and make better ones because I do like playing gacha games, and I do want to make more videos on other gacha games that are either going to be coming out in this year or the next year, or current gacha games that are out right now like Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, and ZZZ. I do play a bunch of them because I do think they're all just good fun. But thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it.